All right, here's our body in white. For the most part, I mean, it probably looks scary at first blush, but to be honest with you, we've kind of seen it all, so it's not that big of a deal. Some laciness, battery acid, but actually the frame itself didn't take much of a hit. The good news here is that you can tell there was never any structural damage, no hits or anything like that. That's all as it should be. Lacy on that drip rail. Remains to be seen whether we'll replace the fenders or not. That's going to be up to Nate. This is a little bit of a concern. You can see where that got damaged. Some rust along here, but darn, the rest of this fender is nice and straight. This is all chewed up, but that area all gets replaced anyway when we take care of the rockers, which we certainly will. Plenty of rust down there. Hello. Not much in the way of floorboards, but again, who really cares if we're going to replace them all? So all of the floors will go. I think that's pretty obvious. Also, the inner, middle, and outer rockers all tie in. So at the end of the day, that's just the way it goes. We're going to replace the floor-mounted pedals with a fully hydraulic dual master brake and hydraulic clutch that'll be mounted on the firewall so that it will be hanging pedals now. Very typical C-pillar rust in that area. Obviously it took a hit at some point. It was pulled. Typical way, I'd say this fender looks like it's gonna go. Probably the skin on here. Take a look back here. This is actually my first look at the car, so back end actually doesn't look too bad. Lower valance again, that's pretty typical. Apparently we forgot to take the script off of here. Looks like we're due for a whole new bottom. Okay, so the good news, and very good news, is that this trunk lid is in really good shape. Normally that trailing edge there is totally rotted out. And if we buy new, we can buy reproduction trunk lids, but they never fit properly. So again, interestingly, can't tell, yeah, it's a little bit of laciness, but for the most part, that's pretty good shape. And you can tell as well, there's been no damage here. Clearly never been hit from behind. I mean, a little dent like that's no big deal. I would say, again, that area is very prone to getting rotted out. There's an inner, excuse me, an inner and outer. Can't really tell from here. No, come on, back out. Here we go. There's that gap there, but there's actually a inner and outer sheet metal that comes together at the bottom, which does nothing but collect crap, and then it rusts off. That's all rusted. So the inner fender, well, for sure would be replaced. It's not bad condition. This door is, sorry. Let's see here. More loveliness. The door itself isn't really in that bad of a shape. Obviously the skin was hit, but again, all this stuff gets replaced. So whether it's a quarter-sized rust hole or what we're looking at here, it doesn't really matter. If we're going to replace it, we're going to replace it, and we're certainly going to replace it. That's a bit of a mystery. We're going to have to make something for that. I don't know if somebody cut that out to use that piece, or if they cut that in order to access the differential for some bizarre reason. I do not know. Again, looks like it got, yep, little overslam there. Oops. More rotten stuff there. Door hit and pulled at one point. This fender's really not bad shape either. That dent would be pulled. Interesting. A lot of laciness around this antenna. But by and large, notwithstanding that dent, which is disappointing, but this is an area that quite often is totally rotten. Not so with this car, so that's a good thing. So probably next week we'll have this up on the rotisserie. We can take a look at the bottom, but I know it doesn't, well, nothing that's a huge shock here at this point.